part 1 of our 2-part flight attendant interview questions and answers. So if you have not seen part 1, make sure to check out part 1. I will link it down below. This is part 2. So yeah, with this part of the video, we're really going to go into details on situational based questions. So if you're interested in that, just keep on watching.
Okay, with these questions you're gonna pull from your experience reserve, and you should have like several instances in your career or careers or your life that you can use towards answering these questions. So number 1, numero uno is, tell me about a time you went above and beyond for a customer. Why is that funny? Why is that funny?
No, just the emphasis and the dramaticness of the way you said that. Okay.
Okay.
Number 1. This question is asked a lot.
Yes, and it's asked in different forms. Another form of it could be the one I was asked, or may not have been asked, is tell me a time you experienced great customer service. Okay. So
for me, I haven't had that many previous jobs. I worked at a ice cream place for a few months, and then I was a lifeguard for 3 years, and then I worked at home for HSN for 2 months. So a lot of my experiences was from lifeguarding, which is great, but you also want to tie in other experiences as well. Even if you only worked for a place for a few months or a few weeks, you can find some situation to talk about.
So basically, I said in the previous video, there's 3 main areas that you kind of want to focus on and what they're looking for. The first area is going to be customer service. How you deal with customers, your experience dealing with customers. Can you perform and deliver a high level of customer service? As a flight attendant, you are definitely expected to do that. Another area is how you respond in emergency services. I know certain airlines, a lot of their training is they're emphasizing on how, emergency procedures. And so if you are a lifeguard, if you are
a nurse, a doctor,
a security,
a teacher,
even a security guard, whatever, this is valuable. You have valuable experience that can be applied in the interview. Okay. And the other one is team-oriented.
Yeah, you have to have teamwork.
Makes the dream work.
So how would you answer this if this question was asked to you? Because it's funny because Lewis, you never really worked, you never had with your previous job, it wasn't customer service based, but he made it seem like it was.
Well, I didn't. So I wasn't asked this exact question, but if I was asked this exact question, alright, so I was asked in a video interview a time where I went above and beyond. And okay, keep in mind, the video interviews are really nerve-wracking for some people, especially for me. So I had experience bartending. I had experience working corporate America as a customer service sales specialist, which has customer service in the title. Meanwhile, what did I lean on? What was the occupation that I brought up? Was when I was basically a janitor at a college. And it was actually a true story. And I told about how I had to move these, must have been, no joke, 200-pound cabinets with a
you never told me that.
with a what is that thing called?
The forklift?
Not a forklift, it's the handheld one.
Oh, the wheelbarrow thing?
Basically I had to move a 200-pound cabinet out of a professor's office with a wheelbarrow down steps, and it was completely not safe. But I said the professor asked me to do it. He really needed these cabinets in his new office, and which probably isn't true, but
so that's a time that you went above and beyond.
Yeah, and that sounds kind of difficult, right?
Sure does. So a way that I answered this question was when I worked at a pool. We had a lot of seniors, we had a lot of elderly, so I just told a story about how I helped an elderly or senior person to the restroom. Like, I walked with them, brought all their things with me, and walked them to the restroom. And then once they were done, I even walked them to their car. Like, I went above and beyond for a customer. That wasn't our policy, that wasn't our procedure, but because they were elderly and they needed extra help that day, I went above and beyond and walked them all the way to their car. So you kind of just have to think about a time in any of your careers that you went above and beyond for someone.
There's nothing to add to that. I think what they're looking for is a time where you went above and beyond, and you should have several instances where you can recite that you did this, and I think that's a perfect example.
Thanks. Question number 2. How did your previous job prepare you to become a flight attendant? So pretty much with this question, just list the qualities that are the same for being a flight attendant and the qualities that are similar to your previous job. So once again, if you have any safety related experience, I had a lot of safety related experience, so I talked about that. And to me, I always kind of told myself being a lifeguard and being a flight attendant was very similar in the terms of seniority was everything. You had to be flexible. Safety was our number one concern. You always dealt with different types of people.
I think that's a perfect answer. Like she said, tie what it's like being a flight attendant, important qualities of that to your old job, somehow tie together.
I feel like a lot of people have either bartending or like even serving experience, so it's easy to even tie that in. I never I've never served, but just you're always dealing with different types of people.
So even if you don't have a customer facing job, I mean, there are times when you deal with customers even though it's not in your job description, and so you could use those examples. And
also for the 2 months I worked for HSN, I worked at home, so I talked on the phone with different types of people, so I even threw that in. Dealing with different customers, and sometimes they would be upset, so I would have to deal with different situations that were spot on because you don't know what they're gonna say on the other side of the phone.
So if somebody asked me that, I would have said, well, I was a bartender in my previous job, and so it taught me that there's a lot of different types of people that you're going to interact with, and sometimes they're not in the best mood, and sometimes they take things out on you, and the important thing is to not escalate it and kind of not react necessarily, and
Also, if maybe you're a teacher or you work with kids, you can also tie in how you have to be patient with those occupations, and you have to be patient with being a flight attendant, so you can even tie that in. Now on to question number 3. Tell us about a time you had to adapt to a difficult situation.
So with this question, and we're going to get to how we would answer it in a second, but they want to see a time where you had a challenge, and there's going to be challenges as a flight attendant, there's challenges in pretty much any job, and you were at a crossroads and you had to decide, okay, how are you going to overcome this challenge, right? So that's what they're looking for. They want to look for a time you overcame something. So, let's say, one of my previous jobs, it required me to basically data entry, and it was a massive amount of information that I had to put in, and I would have difficulty fitting it in the allotted time that I had. So what would I do? I would ask someone that was more senior to me if they can teach me some tricks to be quicker, or I would just study on my lunch break, devote more time on my lunch break, and get better at it somehow. So ways that you had to grow as an employee and overcome this obstacle.
So a way that I answered this was because I have a lot of stories from being a flight attendant, I didn't want to keep implementing that. So I talked about me being an online sales person for HSN. So they would call the number, they would be directed to one of us, and we would place an order for them. So a time that I had to deal with a difficult situation was this woman called, and she was very upset because she ordered something and it like either never came or something was missing with her package. Now, I only dealt with sales, so if I really wanted to, I could have just transferred her to the customer service department. But I took that on as a challenge, and I was like, I'm going to help you. I will do everything that I can to see what we can figure out. So I looked up her information, and I saw that her package actually hadn't been delivered yet because it was during holiday season and we were really busy. So I just informed her that your package is still on its way. It should be there at this certain day, this certain time, and to give us a call back if anything. So it was really difficult because she was very upset, and we were just trying to see where her package was. And then I gave her the information and calmed her down, and everything was great after that.
I think I was asked, basically I was asked this question maybe in a different way. And so this is actually a true story. It was when I was working as a bartender, and it was literally my first day ever working as a bartender. And I was working with this other bartender who has been bartending for longer than I have. So when I got there, for whatever reason, she was not very happy that there was a new person behind the bar. And she was just giving me an extremely hard time. And then she started like screaming at me. I can't even remember. Okay, somebody asked me to make this special drink. I forgot what kind of drink it was. Okay, this might be the second drink I ever made. And it's like this complicated drink, you know, like you gotta mix like so many different things. So I got it right. I remember, because I just came straight out of training, so I remember how to make these drinks. I was correct. She was telling me that I was incorrect, and we were in front of customers, and she was giving me a really hard time, and she was really trying to embarrass me or like break me or something, you know. And I looked right at her, and you know, I wanted to yell at her. I wanted to be like, shut the hell up.
Calm down, it's okay.
Like, because I knew I was right, but I didn't. I just kept my cool. I continued to kind of put a smile on my face in front of the customer. And, you know, she continued to try to antagonize me, and eventually she stopped. But the point is that it was very difficult for me. It was my first day, and, you know, but I kept my cool in front of the customers, you know, and I think that translates extremely well for flight attendant, because there will be situations on the plane where on the inside you may not be keeping your cool, but you need to in front of the customers. So that's a situation that directly applies and fits into the flight attendant position.
And that answer goes into the next question, which is tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult coworker or manager or supervisor. So that would be a good answer for that question as well.
Yeah. For this, yeah, well, it would be, but if I say I just got that question and then I got this question back to back. So I would then say with this question, you want to, I think the overall place you want to get to at the end is you want to have a compromise, right? You want to reach a compromise with your coworker where it's not going to be exactly her way, it's not going to be exactly my way, but we were able to communicate, work together, and reach a compromise, right?
So for example, I mentioned how at the pool, well, my manager, how did I say this? So my manager, she really wanted to implement this idea at the pool that I worked at, where we used our employee parking lot as also a parking lot for the elderly, because the pool was right next to the employee parking lot versus the other parking lot was in the front, so they would have to like walk through the building to get to their cars. And she really wanted to use our parking lot for the seniors as well, versus like the supervisor and the other employees were like, well, that's not very fair because we need our parking spaces to park, so there won't be enough for all the employees and the other people as well. So the compromise that we came up with was, instead of using this parking lot, we just kind of used the outside gate that was closest to the front parking lot, and they could just walk to the side to enter the pool instead of walking directly from the front building. So we pretty much just came with a compromise where everyone was happy.
So my title in my last job was customer service specialist. Actually, it was assistant customer service specialist, which is like basically an assistant to the assistant. But so my title sounds like I really work with customers. Well, guess what? I never talked to one customer since I was there for almost 2 years. However, I did talk to the people who talk to the customers. So basically, my customers, if you want to look at it this way, the people that I served were employees within the company. So, you know, there was a certain level of expectation and customer service skills that went with that. But the point is that my title led you to believe another thing. And it wasn't that I was trying to be deceptive. I never once, you know, necessarily said I worked with customers. I never said I did, you know, even though it kind of was implied. The point is you know,
make it work.
You got to make it work, and it may be difficult to recall situations that would apply into some of these scenarios, but I guarantee you don't even realize that you have so many that you haven't even thought about.
So that's why it's good to bring out a pen and paper and literally like sit down and write like different scenarios that you've been through personally, because it's easy to describe a personal situation than to just make one up.
Well,
so yeah.
Look, guys, if you want to get this job, you're gonna have to prepare. If you think that you're Mr. Charisma or Miss Charisma and you're gonna walk in and you're gonna just come up with these answers on the spot.
And now for the final question, number 5. If a customer who refuses to close their laptop during takeoff, what would you do? Sometimes they may ask a situational based question such as this, where it's very flight attendant specific. So how would you answer that?
I would just close it for them and then throw it on the floor.
No, that's not what you want to do. So with this question, you can ask them again kindly, and if they refuse, you kind of just want to put it into perspective for them why that's a rule, why that's a policy, why that's a procedure. So for us, that's a policy or rule procedure because it's for their safety as well as the safety of those around them. So maybe if once you put that into perspective, they'll understand like, oh, okay, it's for my safety, it's for everyone else's safety, let me put it away.
Yes.
If you guys really enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. My goal is 10,000 this year. It's a big goal, but I would love to achieve it. So yeah, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button if you guys enjoyed Lewis in this video. It was fun making it, and we will see you guys next time. You're bougie.
Keep my back straight. Okay. And the other one is team-oriented.
Yeah, you have to have teamwork. But I want you to actually answer a question.
Oh, okay. Like, make like a really good story up, and you don't want to say that, right?
No.
But it's the truth.
Okay, so say what you would say.
So I would make up a story about when I was bartending. I think I would make up a story about
Next.
No matter what job that you've had.
I think you should just answer it.
Okay, I mean.
Because I feel like people are gonna get mad that we're asking questions and then we're not answering it how we.
True. Okay. Okay. So I mean, what was my previous fucking job? I need some coffee.
Tell us about a time you had to adapt.
I don't like my answers.
Tell us about a time you had to adapt to a situation. Okay, I know what to say.
I'm losing some energy here.
Drink some coffee. Sit down. We're almost done.
I think this video is not as good. We should redo it.
I think we'll be fine. Okay, so the way that
Do it. That's why I say stay flexible. Because you can't do it, you know.
I'm not good with that.
Okay.
You never even talked about your office job.
Because I didn't really do much. I mean, I really didn't. But did we give them enough concrete answers, like you said?
I don't know. Number 5.
Good luck.
Okay. Oh, somehow I did that.
Yeah.
Are we blurry? Okay. Who are you? Okay. Can you sit up straight? Okay. Alright, stop. I'm tired.
You need to edit a lot. Like even what I just said right there, like that little pause, you gotta cut it out, right?
Okay. You need to learn how to edit.
Teach me right now.
Alright, let me close out the video.
Alright.
No, you're gonna be in it. Okay. Really enjoyed this video. Blah. And we will see you guys next time.